Jules is a simple American who works in an antique shop. She is raising 2 children. No, Jules is not a single mother, she is their aunt. The girl became a guardian for her nephews after the death of their parents. The father of the children had a royal title. The family abandoned their eldest son after his marriage to an ordinary girl. Now Jules is left alone with the children and doesn't fully understand what to do next. Jules' life is slowly going downhill. Teen Milo is constantly rebellious and rejects all attempts to get close. Maddie is a little walking disaster in whose hands everything burns and breaks. Even the nanny can't stand the girl's constant antics and quits her job. Today is no exception. The antique shop owner informs Jules that she can no longer run a money-losing business and closes the shop. The girl loves her job, and this news upsets her. On the way home, Jules' car breaks down. And all this on the eve of Christmas. This is not how she wanted to celebrate. In the evening, a strange guest comes to the girl. He introduces himself as the Duke's butler, Milo, and Maddie's grandfather. The Duke ignored his son's family for many years and stripped him of his title. But after the son's death, the Duke decided to meet his grandchildren. He invites Jules and the kids to fly to Europe and spend Christmas with him in a real castle. Jules is outraged by this proposal. Her sister, who was a wonderful person, wasn't accepted into a noble family. And now the Duke suddenly remembered his grandchildren? What audacity! She refuses the butler. That evening, Jules misses her sister intensely. The girl wasn't ready for the trials that fell on her after her sister and her brother-in-law died. She doesn't know how to do the right thing. After some thinking, Jules decides to act in the children's best interests. They need family connections. The girl accepts the Duke's invitation. They go to Europe with the children. Jules, Milo, and Maddie arrive at a real castle. It looks just like a picture in a children's fairy tale. The kids love their rooms, and Jules also enjoys beautiful interiors. There are a lot of old things here that she loves. Another visitor arrives at the castle. Jules watches a handsome man get out of the car. A few minutes later, Jules bumps into this stranger in the house's hallway. This is Ashton, the Duke's second son, and his brother was married to Jules' sister. The girl enjoys talking to Ashton, but the guy acts too cold. Duke and Ashton are expecting Jules and the nephews for dinner, who are running late. The Duke doesn't like to be kept waiting and doesn't like the slightest changes in life. The children's grandfather acts like a pompous, frowning older man. He grumbles and is dissatisfied with everything. Milo wonders why their grandfather didn't show any interest in his grandchildren for so many years and suddenly decides to get acquainted. The Duke replies that their mother didn't have a title to enter the family. Jules doesn't like that the title in this family is put above human qualities. But the girl holds back her emotions. She wants to improve relations for the children's sake. In the morning, Jules comes to the Duke and wants to talk about the Christmas tree and the children's party. The Duke is categorically against buying a Christmas tree. He hates thorns, dirt, turmoil, and everything associated with noisy holidays. Jules doesn't understand why then they were invited to Christmas. Without a Christmas tree, lights, bells, and songs, how will Santa know where the mischievous Milo and little Maddie are? She speaks directly to the Duke about it. Ashton likes that Jules is not afraid of his father and is ready to defend her interests. The next day, Ashton's guests arrive at the castle. Jules views amazing winter scenery from her window. The girl sees Ashton in the saddle, who looks like he stepped out of the pages of a historical novel. She understands that this man is attracted to her. During the day, Jules takes the children to the village. She and Maddie choose the most beautiful Christmas tree. Ashton and his friends are relaxing in the living room, and Jules meets the company. Among the guests, there is Arabella, Ashton's girlfriend, who dreams of marrying him and becoming a princess. Ashton escorts guests. Noisy Milo and Maddie accidentally push Arabella. The girl drops her bag, which falls under the car's wheels. Arabella is furious about the expensive item's damage and screams at the children. Ashton sees the difference between his girlfriend and the kind, patient Jules. To defuse the situation, Ashton invites the kids to feed the ponies. Maddie is delighted, and Jules is grateful that at least someone helps her with fidgets. In the evening, Jules and the children decorate the Christmas tree. Ashton enters the room, and they are having fun. The gloomy and cold castle is filled with the light of lights, joy, and children's laughter. The Duke interrupts the cheerful atmosphere. He is unhappy that Jules put up the tree because he banned trees from his castle. Maddie relieved the situation and asked her grandfather to hang the most beautiful toy on a branch. The Duke reminisces about his childhood and his brother, who gave him a Christmas decoration. The situation and memories touch the Duke. For a long time, he didn't allow himself ordinary human joys. They all continue to decorate the tree together. In the morning, Ashton invites Milo to go archery. Jules watches them. She is pleased to see how Ashton builds a relationship with her nephew. Perhaps this will heal the boy's wounds faster after the loss of his parents. Jules knows that all Milo's antics are just a way to distract from constant pain. The girl is glad that the children can find a family again. The Duke decides to have a Christmas ball in the castle. He had long forgotten about this tradition. It's time to bring back the beautiful custom. The Duke wants to invite many guests. Ashton sees Jules. He talks about the upcoming ball and offers to teach the guest how to waltz. They have fun together, and the man tells Jules about his childhood. The girl realizes that she likes Ashton. Arabella finds dancing Jules and Ashton. The girl is angry. She doesn't like this American woman and the changes she has brought to the castle. Ashton has also changed since Jules arrived. He seems to glow from the inside and constantly smiles in her presence. With Arabella, he behaves with restraint and coldness. Even the staff notices that the Duke's son has started playing the violin again after years of absence. What melted his heart? Or who? Meanwhile, the old Duke is delighted with his grandchildren. He hires tutors so the children can learn their favorite activities. Maddie takes ballet lessons, and Milo learns to play the electric guitar. Preparations for the Christmas ball begin in the castle. The Duke and Ashton discuss the guest list, and Jules accidentally overhears their conversation. They say they don't want to invite a vulgar person without a title and money to the ball, who will become the laughingstock of the evening. Jules understands that it is about her. The girl is broken. And what did she hope for? That the family that rejected her sister would suddenly accept her? It's time to descend from heaven to earth, wake up, smell the coffee, and return to the real world. The thought that Ashton cares more about the pedigree than the person itself hurts Jules. In the evening, she cries because of the overheard conversation. The next morning, Milo unlocks a room where no one is allowed. This is his father's former room. There are many of his personal items. Ashton arrives. Milo asks his uncle why they locked up the memory of his father. Did they not love him? Or were they so angry that he married their mother? But Ashton says that everyone loved their father. It's just that he and the Duke have not yet recovered from the loss. Ashton is happy to have Milo, Maddie, and Jules in their lives, making it much brighter. On the morning of the ball, the maid wakes Jules up. There's been a disaster. One of the girls accidentally burned a massive hole in Jules' party dress. The girl is crying, but Jules comforts the maid. There is no reason to be upset because she doesn't go to the ball anyway. Jules doesn't fit into the society of noble people. She doesn't belong among these guests. The butler and the girls aren't going to back off like that. If not for Jules, this ball would not exist at all. They fell in love with this lovely girl, and she, like the sun, illuminated this gloomy cold castle. And they should help her enjoy the ball. While preparations for the ball are in full swing in the castle, Jules packs her suitcase. She doesn't want to be an unwanted guest on this holiday. Jules helps the kids get dressed for the holiday. The girl asks to say goodbye instead of her to the grandfather and Ashton, but only when she leaves. Milo doesn't understand why she's so hurried to go on Christmas Eve. Jules says she needs to look for a job, and the kids will have a second Christmas when they get home. It's not easy for a girl to say goodbye to her nephews, but there are no miracles in the real world. She needs to leave the castle before she falls in love with Ashton and breaks her heart. Guests begin to arrive at the castle, elegant ladies and sophisticated men. Meanwhile, one of the maids notices that Jules is not in her room. The workers find out that she went to the station and followed the girl. Arabella arrives at the ball with her parents. The girl hopes that Ashton will propose to her today. It would be a wonderful place and time for an engagement, and she would receive a rich husband and title. As the butler announces the guests, the maids catch up with Jules at the train station. They persuade the girl to return to the castle. The maids folded up and bought her a fabulous dress. She can't ignore their efforts. She has to wear a dress and go to the ball. Jules is touched by the kindness of the people, and she cannot refuse them. The girl returns to the castle. Ashton asks Arabella to talk to him. He directly asks if they are suitable for each other. The man is interested in what meaning his title has in their relationship. Arabella admits, if Ashton were a simple man, she wouldn't pay attention to him. Ashton was ready to hear such an answer. It's good that his suspicions were confirmed now. Ashton breaks off relations with Arabella. While such passions rage in one of the castle's rooms, the butler introduces Miss Jules from Buffalo to the guests. Although the girl doesn't have a title, she looks like an actual princess. The dress given by the castle staff fits her perfectly. Ashton approaches Jules. The girl tells about the overheard conversation and that they didn't want to invite her to the holiday. But Ashton explains, Jules didn't understand their words at all. They talked about a very unpleasant person who doesn't like children, despises older people, and behaves disgustingly in any society. But still, the Duke invited this lady. and Jules herself could see they were right. The girl is greatly relieved. Nobody thought poorly of her. Ashton admits that he treats Jules with great respect. He doesn't care if she has money or what family she comes from, and it doesn't matter at all. Jules is fun, gentle, and sweet. This is the kind of person that is missing in his life. Ashton invites Jules to waltz. The couple looks great, and they compliment each other and seem very happy. After the dance, Jules tries to leave, but Ashton doesn't want to let her go even for a minute. The girl doesn't understand. What about Arabella? Ashton says they broke up. Jules wins his heart, and he kisses the girl. Arabella's parents make a scandal. They demand the Duke make an influence on his son. They waited for the prince and their daughter's engagement, not a breakup. How did this impudent American draw Ashton's attention to herself? The Duke was once a fool. He wasn't the best father and abandoned his son because of ridiculous traditions. He won't allow his second son to ruin his life. The Duke says he is delighted with Jules, her manners, kindness, and hard work. She returns his family to him, and he doesn't intend to listen to insults against dear people in his house. Arabella and her parents leave the ball. Ashton asks Jules and the kids to stay with them for a while longer. With their appearance, the castle turned from a gloomy place into a bright house with a lot of joy and love. As the adults continue to dance, Milo and Maddie meet the real Santa waiting for the kids in a room with a tree and presents. It's unknown how long Ashton and Jules dated. It doesn't matter. The main thing is that the wedding of two lovers is celebrated in the royal castle. Ashton and Jules are truly happy. Not all stories have happy endings, but the tale is just beginning for Jules.